You ever wonder what it's really like to be a real estate agent in the state of Texas? Well, I'm going to give you the 5 things I wish I knew before I dove into this competitive world. What's going on, everybody? Today's video, we're going to be talking about what I had to do in order to get my license, and then also what it is to be a licensed real estate agent in the state of Texas. It's completely different than anything that you're going to think. I'm going to give you the ins, the outs, the real, the bad, the ugly, the good. I'm going to give you everything. So stay tuned, watch this video, like, share, and subscribe. All right, so moving forward, there's 5 things that I wish I knew that no one fucking told me before I became a real estate agent in the state of Texas. So I'm just gonna dive straight in. If you guys like the content, you guys already know what to do. The first one is the licensing process is just the beginning. There is so much more besides just the licensing process that you will have to do, trust me. So I spent probably 2 to 3 months studying books, studying magazines, making flashcards, you name it, I did it, just so I could pass the exam. And then once you pass the exam, you're thinking, oh yay, I'm a real estate agent. You just scratched the surface. Trust me, you just scratched the surface. There's clients you gotta get, there's brokers that you gotta hire, there's access to CRMs that you gotta get, there is access to showing time so that you can actually show the property that you're looking to show. There's so much more stuff that no one tells you. No one tells you this stuff. No one. But there are good points of things that nobody tells you. No one tells you that you sell a property, you get 80-20 split, and if the property is $450K, that's probably about 15 G's in your pocket. So that's another thing that nobody tells you. Also, another thing that nobody tells you is that you negotiate your splits. I wish I knew that, because when I first started, I didn't know that negotiating my splits was an actual thing. I thought that the broker was the one who told me what my split was going to be. I used to work at eXp Realty, and now I currently work at LPT Realty. With LPT, I have 100% splits. It's great, I love every minute of it. All I have to pay is the $750 fee for processing, and that's the processing fee on top of the insurance and everything else. But other than that, if I made 15K off of a property that I've sold and $750 had to come out of it, do the math, right? If you do the math, that's for $14,250 that goes directly into my pocket instead of me having an 80 to 20% split, which I'm not doing that math. All right, so the next thing that I want to focus on is market volatility. It's exactly what it sounds like. Market volatility is basically demand versus supply versus how many agents are actually in your area selling. And then also what the government is doing to make it to where the property is at a certain price point, or the interest rates are at a certain price point. Just getting the client isn't enough. You have to sign that client, and then you have to get them to sign something saying that they're going to buy the property. Finding the client with the volatility of the market, especially in a big state like Texas, at sometimes can feel like it's overwhelming. You're completely lost. And then at times when you don't have any clients, you're trying to figure out how to get those clients. That is another piece that can be extremely overwhelming. If you don't know someone who knows someone who knows someone, then it might take you a year before you get your first sale. Luckily for me, in my experience, I'm retiring now, but I was in the military, and I had people who would mention me basically because they knew of my military service. I was a senior drill sergeant for a medical brigade, and people would mention, hey, the senior drill sergeant is a real estate agent, so why don't you go work with him? So that market volatility of thousands on top of thousands on top of thousands of real estate agents in your area didn't really apply to me. So I was still able to make my 7 sales for the year because I set a goal for 5 because I was brand new. But I still made my 7 sales for that year. But it can be difficult at times if you don't have that type of network, which moving forward, network is actually the number 3 thing that I want to talk about. Developing a network is not just developing clientele. Developing a network means I have clientele, I have people that are working and assisting me, I have friends and family who are pushing out my products, they're pushing out my name. We'll pause there. Time out. Friends and family. If you're able to sell a home or sell a house to a friend or a family member and that be your first sale, that is amazing. I highly recommend it. I definitely would do that, right? Because that's getting your foot into the door. However, that should not be your only way of making money or selling properties, period. You're going to have to branch out and network and talk to other real estate agents and figure out what they're doing. You're going to have to go out there, network, and show houses for other real estate agents. Sometimes you may have to do that for free. But when you're doing that stuff and you're networking, you're building your clientele, your base, you're handing out your cards, you're handing out your flyers, you're putting yourself out there so that everyone that you speak to knows, oh, that's a real estate agent. What I used to do is I would go through my office, especially when I was in the military. I would go through my office and I would tell everybody, yep, I'm a real estate agent. Yep, just passed my exam. And then I would get in cars with friends and I'd be flipping through my phone and they're like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm looking to see if I have any prospects or any clients that I can potentially show a property to. And they eventually understood that I was serious about this. So me being so serious, they were like, hey man, I got a friend, especially I had a homegirl, she was like, I got a friend that is moving from Georgia and moving to San Antonio. She wants to buy a house when she gets here. I actually sold her the house while she was still in Georgia. And all I did was use my iPhone and show her the house. I walked around, this is the house, this is the house. And then she did eventually take a trip up here to come see the house. But from her, my friend showing her friend, I got the friend that showed the friend's friend for another property. So word of mouth and networking is it's crucial to your success, and especially in such a large state and with all these other real estate agents around you, it's crucial to your success as a real estate agent. So the controversy is it better to be a full-time agent or should you start off small as a part-time agent? I started off small as a part-time agent and was able to get 7 sales. And again, goes back to the networking and me putting myself out there. My older sister, who is also a real estate agent, who's also part of this, so shout out to SJ and Gateway Property, that's her thing. She was doing it full time. And actually, because of what she did, she joined the team. I was able to sell more than she did. But I also had a better clientele base. I'm in a bigger state. She was in Georgia, I was in Texas. So it was just it was a different dynamic of what we were trying to accomplish at that specific time. So should you do full-time or should you do part-time? It really depends on what you're trying to do. If you have a full-time job already, it's gonna be pretty difficult for you to go and do a full-time job as a real estate agent. You could be part-time real estate. Hey, I show houses from 5 o'clock at night till 8 o'clock at night. And then on the weekends, I'm free. Or if you work weekends, then you do it throughout the week. It's all about your preference. What is it that you want to accomplish and what is it that you want to do? But as far as whether you should do full-time or part-time, no one can tell you that. You have to make that decision on your own. All right, so moving on to number 5, right? If you stuck with me all the way through here, this one is probably the best amount of advice I could give anybody. Like hands down, 100%, this will never fail you. And it sounds simple, it really does, but people don't understand this. The last thing is learning never stops. The market changes so often. It's the interest rates are up here, the interest rates are down here. Now everyone's buying, now everyone's selling. This person wants to buy a property. This person does not want to buy a property. This person wants to buy a condo. This person wants to buy land. The learning never stops. I would say find your specific niche. I hate that word, oh my God. Find your specific niche or whatever that specific thing is that you are good at selling, and then that would be where I would go, and that would be my focus on what I would do and how I would learn and how I would continue to try to learn. If you watched the previous video, then you saw that there was different classes that you gotta take, appraisals, brokerage, 2 forms of legal. There's so many different classes that you have to take, but your broker should also have training classes, other things that he or she can give you to develop your knowledge and make it to where you are a better at the end of the day, a better real estate agent than what you started. So if you feel like you're stuck, or if you feel like you're not learning or you're not progressing in the real estate game, then you need to pick up a book, go to some of these seminars and actually learn some different techniques on how to be a better real estate agent. No one is going to be able to teach you, no one is going to be able to help you if you're not willing to learn. So there you have it. Those are my 5, I think I might actually give you 6. The bonus Those are my 5 things that I wish someone had told me before I became a real estate agent. And they're simple things. However, they're not that simple if you really think about it. It's how you approach people and how you talk to people. Being a real estate agent is you're a sales agent. You have to be able to talk to people. You can't be shy. You can have some type of resolve about you, but you have to be willing to put yourself out there and say, hey, I'm a real estate agent. I do this. This is what I'm going to make my career out of. And if you're not willing to do it, then I would say it's not for you. But there are those that prosper. I don't know. Give it a shot. If you like it, love it, right? Put full force effort into making it a career. And I promise you, it'll be so rewarding. My biggest reward is seeing someone else so happy, me being able to show them that property and them being happy and seeing them with their family saying, that's my real estate agent, and he did not try to screw me over. Instead, he helped me and my family. I've done that so many times now that it is ridiculous. And my price points have gone from $700,000 all the way down to $150,000 in the state of Texas. And the guy really just needed a house, and I worked that magic and it made me feel good. It made me feel good to see him and his family were able to have a house. That's what he wanted, and I loved it. So again, that's it. Like, share, subscribe. CPA, Cheers Property Associates. We out.